Sure, let's get started. I'll ask the questions one by one, and you can take a minute to answer each one. Afterward, I'll give you feedback on your responses. When you're ready, I'll count down to start the recording. What are some of the challenges you face when learning English as a second language? Take your time to think and answer. I'll start the countdown in a moment. 1, 2, 3. What methods do you find most helpful when practicing your English speaking skills? Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Do you prefer learning English through formal lessons or through conversation practice with others? Why? Your turn. 1, 2, 3. Can you describe a situation where you used English outside of class, and how did you feel about it? Take your time to explain. 1, 2, 3. What do you think is more important when learning English? Fluency or accuracy? Why? Last question. 1, 2, 3. Once you've finished your responses, I'll give you feedback.
Okay.
Great. Now that you're ready, feel free to answer the questions at your own pace. Once you've finished with all the responses, I'll provide you with feedback in English. Let's begin. What are some of the challenges you face when learning English as a second language? Take your time to answer. 2, what methods do you find most helpful when practicing your English speaking skills? Think about the methods that work best for you. 3, do you prefer learning English through formal lessons or through conversation practice with others? Why? Tell me which one suits you and why. Can you describe a situation where you used English outside of class, and how did you feel about it? Share any experience you've had. 5, what do you think is more important when learning English, fluency or accuracy? Why? Think about which one matters more to you. Let me know when you've finished, and I'll give you feedback on your responses.
Okay. Can you repeat the first question, please?
Sure. Here's the first question again. Mr. 1. What are some of the challenges you face when learning English as a second language?
Mm,
Feel
Okay.
free to take your time to respond.
Okay.
Lo sentimos. Ha ocurrido un problema. No comprendí lo que dijiste.
Okay. The first challenge that I can say is learn new vocabulary in that language. For example, in English, my most problem that I have was practice and learning the new vocabulary. For example, when I have habits or something nature, I need to say that words, but I can't say that because I forget forgot how to say it in English. Uh, for example, and also to say the greetings when are meeting other person. For me, it's difficult to learn more words, and the pronunciation is a big problem for new beginners for English.
Great response. I can understand how vocabulary learning and pronunciation can be challenging when learning English as a second language. It's common to forget words or feel unsure about how to pronounce them. One thing you can do to improve is to practice new vocabulary in context, like using words in sentences or with language apps. Also, listening to English conversations and repeating what you hear can really help with pronunciation. Now, let's move on to the next question. How do you usually practice your English speaking skills? Take your time to answer.
Okay. I usually practice when I am in the at the university because my career is
That's a great
focused.
start. Now take your time and answer the second question. How do you usually practice your English speaking skills? You have 1 minute to respond. Feel free to share your usual practice methods.
Okay, for me it's difficult to practice outside of the university because I study English at the university, but for me it's uh, complicated speak English outside university or when I in my home or when I go out with my friends, it's difficult to talk in English because the people that are around of you it no don't understand at all that you said, and that become a difficult problem. So for me, practice English. It's more comfortable when I in the university.
That's a good explanation. It's understandable that practicing English can be challenging when those around you don't speak it. It's great that you can practice at university where you're surrounded by people who are likely in the same learning process. Here's some feedback. You're doing well in explaining the difficulties you face. It's very important to practice in a comfortable environment, and it seems like you're doing a good job in finding that space. Try to incorporate more vocabulary and phrases in different contexts. Maybe try small conversations with friends or people who understand English more to build confidence. Let's move to the next question. 3. What do you find most motivating when learning English? Take your time and share what keeps you motivated in your learning journey. You have 1 minute to respond.
Okay, the most important thing that I found when I practice English is when I can speak English with native persons, native speakers. For me, it's important to communicate with other people, with other person, if I can speak the same language that him or her. So that for me, that's the most important thing. Communicate, the communicate, and can say that you think to other person.
That's a great point. Being able to communicate with native speakers is a huge motivation. It's a powerful way to learn and improve your language skills, as real life conversations offer immediate feedback and the chance to practice in context. Feedback. You did well explaining your motivation to communicate effectively with others. Communication is key to language learning, and your focus on that is excellent. Just remember that when you speak with others, try to keep practicing even if you make mistakes. That's how you learn and improve. Now, here's the final question. 4. What would be your advice to other learners who want to improve their English skills? You have 1 minute to respond.
Okay, my advice that I can say is practice English. Practice when you have free time or when you have a lot of time to focus it. Um, and also, you can improve your English if you.
That's fantastic advice.
Mhm.
Consistent practice is key to improving your skills. Whether it's during your free time or when you can really focus, every bit of practice helps you get better. Keep it up, and remember that learning a language is a journey, and every step counts. Feedback. Your advice is very practical and realistic. It shows you understand the importance of consistent practice. For your response, try to add more specific examples of how to practice, like listening to English podcasts or watching movies in English to make your advice even more helpful to others. Great job throughout the conversation. Keep practicing, and you'll continue to improve your English fluency.
Thank you. That's all.